Our commencement speaker is Reid, a leading authority on public relations and marketing with extensive experience in healthcare. He is a business counselor, strategist, and coach. Roy is a sought-after speaker and co-author of The Trust Transformation, which provides a framework to improve results through a more intentional effort to earn, cultivate, and restore trust. Roy is the former executive director of communications for Advent Health. Before that, he was a partner with the Consensus Communications, one of the top public relations firms in Florida. The group, Trust Across America, Trust Around the World, named him one of the top 100 thought leaders influencing trusted business behavior and gave him a Lifetime Achievement Award. Roy earned a business degree from UCF, where he also served as student body president. In 2007, he was recognized by the College of Business as its Alumni of the Year, and in 2010, he was inducted into the Nicholson School of Communications Hall of Fame. Please help me welcome Reid.
In 1964, North America suffered the most extensive earthquake in recorded history. At more than 9.0 on the Richter scale and emanating out of Alaska, the damage was extensive. 131 people perished as a result of this event. However, only 9 as a result of the direct earthquake. The other 122 people died in the ensuing days and weeks from the tsunamis that took place afterwards. When we examine traumatic events, it's often in the aftermath where we see the greatest damage. The other thing that's fascinating about this earthquake is that when the planners and builders went to start rebuilding, they looked around and they did their analysis and they discovered that the state of Alaska had moved 50 feet. Think about that for a minute. What that means is you can no longer build where you once were. It's not there anymore. As we find ourselves today in society, we look around and we're not where we were a few years ago. We've experienced the most transformative time in our lifetime. Let me put a finer point and personalize this for you. 1,301 days ago, I suffered my own personal traumatic event, my 9.0 on the Richter scale. I woke up in the middle of the night with the worst chest pains I'd ever had. Someone was punching a hole through my chest and squeezing the life out of it. I ran in the bedroom, I got my wife and said, "We got to get to the emergency room. I think I'm having a heart attack." On the way there, I have a stroke and become completely non-responsive. By the time we arrive, she has to get nurses to help drag me out of the car just so somebody can look at me. As the team is looking at me, one of the nurses raises his hand and says, "Stop. I don't think it's a heart attack. I think it's an acute aortic dissection." I'd never heard of that before, but essentially what it means is that my heart was splitting open from the carotid artery down to the root. And they had to get me in surgery immediately. They called for a helicopter. They fly me to Advent Health Orlando, where a team works on me for 6 hours to repair it, to replace the parts of my heart that had been broken. I was out of work for 6 months in recovery. Recognizing that there was significant loss of oxygen, they decided that I needed to be in a coma for recovery. That if I survived, and the likelihood was still slim at that point, I'd need lifetime care. So they kept me in a coma for 7 days, and for 7 days, the prevailing idea was that there was no prognosis for a positive outcome. I was in that coma for a week. Waking up out of a coma is a little bit like waking up in the middle of a plane crash. There's people standing over you, yelling, trying to keep you calm. There's machines hooked up to you. But the amazing part of it was I woke up me. I woke up with my cognitive ability to then set course to recover. It really has been a journey of mission, medicine, and miracles. You see, life is about the storm. You're either in the middle of a storm, coming out of the storm, or getting ready to go back into it. And there's something important in our lives that we have to cultivate for that. There was something important in my life that I had to cultivate for my own personal recovery. And it's the thing that we need in our lives to find our fortitude and to find our resilience. And we're gonna need that in every aspect of life. 2 words, trusted relationships. Coming out of the hospital, I had to develop a whole new level of trust in myself if I was gonna get through recovery. It's one thing to have a great team of people around you, a loving family around you to help you get there, but if you don't trust yourself, you're not able to do that. We have to invest in our own trustworthiness if we're going to pursue the things that we need to pursue, if we're gonna build the relationships that we're gonna build. What does resilience and fortitude look like? Well, for me, it looks like this. This month, I completed my 3rd half marathon this year. Thank you. And last week, I did a 10-mile event at the Kennedy Space Center, which is the coolest thing I've ever done, by the way. Trust has been the catalyst for my recovery. Trust has been the catalyst for my career. I would encourage you to think about this as you set upon your career. Improving relationships, beginning with yourself and accountable to yourself. There's a study called the Edelman Trust Barometer, and this past year, it had a devastating outlook on the report. It said that distrust has become the default human emotion. And we all know why, we see it. But it's up to us to change that. It's up to you as you embark on your career to change that, to make a change in the world that you're going into as a graduate. I'm gonna give you 4 guiding principles for developing transformational trust in your life. Number 1, build trust from the inside out. Start with yourself. If you can't yourself be trustworthy, you can't hold others to that standard. Number 2, take responsibility for your relationships. You will accomplish great things with other people, never alone. Do not make your relationships transactional. Number 3, keep your promises and communicate consistently. You become dependable when you deliver a consistent, reliable performance, and you manage expectations when you communicate effectively. The last guiding principle is to be a good steward with your trust. First and foremost, surround yourself with people that subscribe to this same idea. And second, use this precious gift of trust that other people give you to improve the lives and conditions of those around you. I'll close with one last story. My daughter Faith is the youngest of 4 children and the only girl, and she's with me today. And we have a great relationship. "15 years ago, Faith had converted our dining room into a bracelet factory. And for those of you with children, you know that's an OSHA violation. As I walked in the house that night, she was so excited. She ran up to greet me. She said, "Daddy, I made you a bracelet. Will you wear it?" And as a parent, when your child hands you a piece of jewelry or anything that they've made and asks you to wear it, there's only one answer. That answer is absolutely. It was Memorial Day weekend, so everywhere we went, to the mall, the church picnic, the movies, I became what's technically known as show and tell. Everywhere we went, Faith would talk about the bracelet, the beads, the reason she made it, the way she spelt my name with it. It was a lot of fun. Come Tuesday morning, it's time to get up, put the suit on, go to work, put the bracelet on the dresser, head out the door. I get home that night. I find that the dining room is still a bracelet factory. OSHA didn't get the memo. And as my wife and I are making dinner in the kitchen, Faith comes running in. She's got another bracelet, different colored beads, and all I can think to myself is, "Honey, I only have so much arm to give to your cause." And she looks at me and she says, "Daddy, if you didn't like the other bracelet, will you wear this one?" Yeah, she had seen it on the dresser, and in her 6-year-old mind, that was her only conclusion. Well, I'm devastated at that point because as a relationship and trust expert, I had just blown it with my 6-year-old. And so I did 2 things. I went back into the bedroom and I put the bracelet on and I wear it every day. This is it right here. I wear it for two reasons. Number one, I told her I would. And number two, it reminds me that every little thing that I say or do is either contributing to or taking away from the trust that other people have in me. And that's what I want you to keep in mind as you leave here today. Build trust from the inside out. Take responsibility for your relationships. Keep your promise and communicate consistently. Be a good steward with your trust. And with that, I say congratulations on graduation. I will watch what you do, and I'm excited about how you will go out and transform the world. Go Knights.
Thank you, Roy. Thank you for continuing to make us so proud of you as an alumni of this institution. And thank you for all you do to continue to push forward the concept of trust. And I hope our graduates today take that to heart and think about what that means for their careers moving forward. Thank you again.